Hello everyone, today I'll be teaching you about the synthesis of bacterial cell wall and the antibiotics or the antimicrobials which inhibit this process. Bacteria although can be divided depending on their structure into gram-positive and gram-negative, but the cell wall in both cases is composed of peptidoglycans. The illustrative diagram on your screen represents the structure of a gram-positive bacteria. Let me walk you through this diagram from its inner to the outer side. The inner side represents the cytoplasm, which is bound by the plasma membrane, which also carries some proteins. This is followed by the cell wall, and the space in between the two layers is the periplasmic space. Now let us have a look at the cell wall in greater detail. As we now know, the cell wall is composed of peptidoglycans. Now this term, the peptidoglycans, can be split into two words, that is peptides and glycans, where peptides refer to the peptide crosslinks and glycans refer to the sugar. And in the case of cell wall synthesis, there are two sugars which act as the building blocks, namely the N-acetyl-muramic acid or NAM and N-acetyl-glucosamine or NAG. The process of cell wall synthesis can be divided into three stages based on the location at which that particular process is taking place. So it can be divided into a cytoplasmic stage, a membrane stage, and an extracellular stage. So if you understand this process correctly, you will find that this process is very similar to bricklaying. The very first stage of cell wall synthesis is the cytoplasmic stage, which is named so because it takes place in the cytoplasm. In this stage, the building blocks, namely NAG and NAM, which are like bricks in this laying process of cell wall, are synthesized. So NAG present previously in the cytoplasm uses UTP or uridine triphosphate to form UDP-NAG, which is then converted to UDP-NAM in the presence of this very important enzyme, enol pyruvate transferase. This unit is then conjugated with three amino acids, namely alanine, glutamate and lysine, to form UDP-NAM tripeptide, which further, on addition of two alanine amino acid, forms UDP-NAM pentapeptide. Now there is a peculiar thing about this conjugation, as the L-alanine, which is available naturally, is converted to D-alanine in the presence of an enzyme called racemase, which catalyzes the stereochemical inversion around the asymmetric carbon atom. Now remember two important antimicrobials which act at this stage. So first is phosphomycin, which inhibits the enol pyruvate transferase, and second is cycloserine, which inhibits alanine racemase. In the second stage or the membrane stage, the building blocks are put together and transferred to the growing peptidoglycan chain. This stage involves a membrane lipid carrier, namely bactoprenol, which removes the UDP from UDP-NAM pentapeptide unit and UDP-NAG unit as well, and carries the resulting molecule across the cell membrane. Now, due to its limited supply, bactoprenol needs to be recycled into the cell, which is done by a process of dephosphorylation, which is in turn catalyzed by phosphatase enzyme. Meanwhile, the enzyme transglycosylase elongates the peptidoglycan chain. The antibiotic bacitracin acts on phosphatase, while vancomycin inhibits the action of transglycosylase. The third stage is the extracellular stage. The molecule or our building blocks are not yet bonded. So for the cell wall to become even more stronger, cross links are established between the neighboring peptide chains. So this is similar to laying cement between the bricks for it to become stronger. So this process of cross-linking is catalyzed by the enzyme transpeptidase. Here a cross-link is established between lysine amino acid and the penultimate alanine molecule, and which results in the loss of the last alanine molecule of the target chain. This step of cross-linking is inhibited by the antibiotics beta-lactams. Now, as promised, here is a mnemonic for you. So you can refer to the table on the bottom left side for all the enzymes and the drugs inhibiting their action. So you can remember this as a fat chubby guy named Carl who has big feet and who watches television every day, every single hour, and so much that the people suspect him of having high blood pressure or even TB. So that's all. If you like this video, do not forget to like, share and subscribe.